You know, it's funny. You came up in conversation just a week ago. I was talking to a young band who was asking me for advice about getting their stuff in front of people and how to meet people. And they've got a couple guys in larger bands who are fans of theirs already. And they said, you know, does it help when you're kind of unknown if you have like the seal of approval from somebody else? And I said, well, Riki Rachtman brought Axl Rose to his MTV audition. So that's always my go-to. It's like, that helps a little.
Riki Rachtman didn't make it on his talent. Yeah.
No, that's not the takeaway. The takeaway is like, you know, if you, you know, work everything that you've got, right? I mean,
oh my God, yes. I mean, it's about who you know. I mean, it just so happened that in our small group of friends, that many of them became the biggest rock stars in the world. And
yeah,
one thing that I will always say about Axl Rose is Axl is a person that back in the day, and I'm sure he's probably this way as well now. But Axl was somebody that did take care of his friends, you know, in the circle was a lot of people that he'd always known.
yeah.
And it really helped facilitate my job on MTV. It wasn't like, hey, they're auditioning people to host. It was like, you know, him and his manager at the time, Doug Goldstein, made some phone calls, set everything up for me. So does it help having Axl Rose as an agent? Yeah, it did. But it was up.
But you also had to be able to deliver once you got there. They weren't just going to say, oh, somebody Axl knows and he can't.
The first shows, it's questionable whether I delivered or not. And, you know, it just goes to show you, you never know what paths you take are going to lead you in what direction, you know. And the one thing that I try to tell people is every day is an audition and every job is an audition. And that one guy that you meet, if you're going to treat him like dirt because he went to get you a coffee, you never know that he's going to be the guy that's going to make the decision whether you have another job or not. So I've always gone out of my way just to treat everybody like dirt. So there's really no difference.
That's killer. Yeah, I always, you know, Axl, Izzy, Shannon Hoon. I have growing up in Indiana, watching Headbangers Ball in high school, and you know those very important formative years. You know, just celebrated my 20th anniversary of living in California recently, and I posted a GIF of Axl in the Welcome to the Jungle video getting off the bus with the hayseed in his mouth, because that was, you know, that was essentially my story.
And you're still in California, how do you do it?
I don't know, man. And that was something else I wanted to talk to you about because, you know, since the pandemic, especially in North Carolina in particular, I keep hearing about people that are just picking up and moving and they're going, hey, I'm working remote. I might as well live somewhere that I can have more space and lower overhead. And I hear about North Carolina a lot, actually. And I know, like, you know, Danny McBride and some other people are like kind of out in the Carolinas. This is super random and probably not Fest and Headbangers Ball people are going to fall asleep when I bring this up, but I just watched the Peter Sellers movie Being There yesterday, and that's all filmed in North Carolina in that what is it, the Bilberg Mansion or whatever? It's like the biggest Biltmore. Yeah, it's like the biggest private property and like sole homeowner thing in America.
Yeah, I don't live in the Biltmore Mansion. I mean, I grew up in Hollywood. My story of riding a moped as a delivery guy on the Sunset Strip when I'm 15, up until having, you know, running the biggest rock and roll clubs in Hollywood, to living in Laurel Canyon. And then finally I was like, I've never lived anywhere else. And the whole thing happened with, you know, I was a NASCAR fan. I wanted to work in NASCAR, and I came to North Carolina, and I ride motorcycles very far. And one of the states that I rode through frequently was North Carolina. And I fell in love with it. And then I was like, hold on a second. I can buy this house.
Yeah.
This closet in a bad area.
Yeah.
And the more time I spent in North Carolina, the more I fell in love with it. And, you know, 2 years ago, I ended up buying a house. And right now I've got everything I want here. And I save so much money. If I want to, I could still go to LA, and, you know, all my friends and family are still in Los Angeles, and I still like to visit LA, but LA isn't the same way it was anyway. You know, I go back to LA, and what I miss isn't even there anymore. So I can't say, oh, I miss going out in Hollywood and going to the clubs and stuff, because that stuff isn't even there anymore, even if I wanted to go back.